Captain June Kim sat at his desk, staring at the screen in front of him. His hands were shaking. After 15 years of fighting for the Galactic Defense Coalition, he was being taken off the battlefield. Not just him, all humans were being pulled from combat duty. The order said it was because of body problems with modern war methods. The timing was terrible. The Vorsian Empire had been attacking Coalition planets for months. They had already taken over 3 star systems. Their weapons were partly alive, and their soldiers all thought as one mind. Now the Coalition was telling its best fighters to step aside? This makes no sense, June said, throwing the tablet onto his desk. Lieutenant Hannah Park stood in the doorway watching him. The whole 45th Battalion is being moved, she said. Not just us. Every human fighting unit in the Coalition. And what will we do instead? Push papers while the Vorsians kill innocent people? They're sending us to planning operations and supply work. The Council says humans are more useful doing those jobs. June ran his fingers through his short hair. This order comes from the top leaders? From the Council itself. And there's more. They're replacing us with T9 robot units. Robots? Those things can't think better than a space bug. Hannah shrugged. The order starts right away. We leave for Centauri Station tomorrow. Later that night, as June packed his things, he felt something was wrong. Humans had helped win 3 major wars in the last 10 years. Why pull them now, when the danger was greater than ever? What June didn't know was that the ban wasn't meant to keep human soldiers safe. It was to keep the galaxy safe from them. The next morning, June met Hannah in the transport bay. Other human soldiers were there too, all looking angry or confused. Any more news? June asked. Hannah shook her head. Nothing, but I talked to some soldiers from the 32nd Battalion. They got the same orders we did. Every human fighter in the Coalition is being moved to support jobs. It doesn't make sense, June said, watching as soldiers loaded their bags onto the transport ship. Not during a war. An announcement came over the speakers. All personnel of the 45th Battalion, please board. Transport ship Delta, departure in 15 minutes. As they walked up the ramp, June noticed Admiral Sung Lee, the highest-ranking human in the Coalition forces, talking with a tall alien from the Council. The Admiral looked upset. Wait here, June told Hannah. He walked over to Admiral Sung. Captain Kim, the Admiral said, seeing him approach. I was just discussing this new policy with Counselor Dex. The alien counselor was a Zentari, with blue skin and 4 eyes that blinked at different times. He looked at June without emotion. The Council's decision is final, Captain, Counselor Dex said. All human combat personnel are being reassigned to non-combat roles. May I ask why, sir? June asked, trying to keep his voice respectful. We're in the middle of a war. The Vorsians are advancing every day. The synthetic T9 units will replace human fighters, Dex said. They are more reliable. Reliable? With all due respect, sir, humans have the highest success rate in the Coalition forces. That may be true, Captain, but there are other factors to consider. What factors? The counselor's 4 eyes blinked rapidly. That information is classified. Now, I suggest you board your transport. Your new assignment awaits at Centauri Station. As Dex walked away, Admiral Sung turned to June. I've been fighting this order for weeks, he said quietly. The Council won't change their minds. Do you know the real reason, sir? The Admiral looked around to make sure no one was listening. Not entirely. But I know it has something to do with an incident 15 years ago during the Proxima Centauri campaign. What incident? It was before my time as Admiral. All I know is that after whatever happened, the Council began developing the synthetic program to replace human soldiers. Sir, June said, lowering his voice, do you think this has something to do with the Vorsians? Why now in the middle of a war with them? Admiral Sung's face showed worry. I don't know, but I intend to find out. For now, Captain, follow your orders. Go to Centauri Station. I'll be joining you there in a few weeks. A final call for boarding came over the speakers. June saluted the Admiral and walked back to where Hannah was waiting. What was that about? She asked as they boarded the ship. I'm not sure, June said. But the Admiral thinks this has something to do with something that happened 15 years ago. What happened 15 years ago? I don't know, but I'm going to find out. The journey to Centauri Station took 3 days. When they arrived, June and his fellow soldiers were given their new assignments. June was now Strategic Operations Coordinator instead of Infantry Captain. Hana became a Logistics Analysis Officer instead of Combat Lieutenant. Their new workspace was a large room filled with screens and data terminals. No weapons, no training areas, just desks and computers. This is what we fought for, one soldier said bitterly. To become office workers? June tried to keep his team's spirits up. This is temporary, he told them. We'll get back to where we belong soon. But as days turned into weeks, news from the front lines got worse. The synthetic T9 units were losing ground against the Vorsians. 3 more coalition planets had fallen. Millions of civilians were now under Vorsian control. The robots fight exactly as they're programmed, Hana said one day as she and June looked at battle reports. They don't adapt. They don't improvise. The Vorsians have figured out their patterns. Humans wouldn't make that mistake, June said. No, we wouldn't. That night, after most staff had left, June used his command codes to access the Coalition's secure files. He was looking for anything about the incident Admiral Sung had mentioned. Most files from 15 years ago were locked or deleted, but one report caught his eye. Proxima Centauri Campaign, Final Analysis. Most of the report was blacked out, but one paragraph wasn't. Following the events at Colony Outpost 37, all human combat units have been placed under psychological review. Recommendations for future deployment of human assets in conflict situations with hive-mind species will be addressed in Addendum B. June tried to access Addendum B, but the file was locked with Council-level security. Just then, Hana entered the room. "What are you doing?" she asked. "It's past midnight." "Looking for answers," June said, showing her the screen. "Something happened 15 years ago with humans fighting against a hive-mind species." "The Vorsians are a hive-mind species," Hana said. "Exactly. I think that's why they're keeping us off the battlefield." "But why? What happened?" "I don't know yet, but I'm going to find out." Suddenly, the station's alarms began blaring. Red lights flashed in the corridors. "What's happening?" Hana asked. June checked the emergency channel on his tablet. His face went pale. "The Vorsians," he said. "They found us. A Vorsian fleet just appeared in the system. They're heading straight for Centauri Station." "But this is a civilian station," Hana said. "There are 5 million people living here, and only a few hundred synthetic T9 units to defend them," June added. The station's speakers came to life with Admiral Sung's voice. "Attention all personnel. This is not a drill. Vorsian forces have entered the system and are on an attack vector. All non-combat personnel report to evacuation zones. All synthetic defense units report to your battle stations." June and Hana looked at each other. They knew the synthetics wouldn't be enough. "What do we do?" Hana asked. June's face hardened with determination. "What we were trained to do. We fight." But neither of them knew that fighting was exactly what the Council had been trying to prevent. Neither of them knew the real reason humans had been banned from the battlefield. They were about to find out. Red alarm lights flashed throughout Centauri Station. People ran in panic toward the evacuation ships. June and Hana moved against the crowd, heading toward the station's armory. "We don't have authorization to access weapons," Hana said as they ran. "I know," June replied, "but we can't just run away." When they reached the armory, they found Admiral Sung already there. He was giving orders to a group of former human soldiers. "Captain Kim, Lieutenant Park," the Admiral said when he saw them. "Good. We need every trained fighter." "Sir, what about the Council's orders?" Hana asked. "The nearest Council member is 3 star systems away," Admiral Sung said. "I'm making a field decision. The synthetic units can't hold off the Vorsians alone." "How bad is it?" June asked. 15 Vorsian warships against our 6 defense cruisers, and we have 5 million civilians who can't all evacuate in time." A tall man in a black uniform stepped forward. "This is a direct violation of Council Directive 7B, he said. "Humans are forbidden from combat operations." June recognized him as Commander Jin, the station's political officer. His job was to make sure everyone followed the Council's rules. "Commander," Admiral Sung said, "in 3 hours this station will be overrun by Vorsians. Do you know what they do to captured populations?" Jin's face paled slightly. Everyone knew. The Vorsians used captives to grow their hive mind. They connected people's brains to their network. It was a fate worse than death. "The Council has its reasons for the combat ban," Jin insisted. "And I have my reasons for ignoring it," the Admiral replied. 5 million reasons to be exact. He turned to the human soldiers. "Arm yourselves. We deploy in 10 minutes. As June put on combat armor for the first time in months, he felt a strange mix of emotions. Part of him was angry at being kept from doing his job for so long. Another part was excited to fight again. But there was also worry. What if the Council's ban had a good reason? "You okay?" Hana asked as she checked her weapon beside him. "Just thinking," June said. "Whatever made the Council ban humans from fighting, we're about to find out if they were right." Admiral Sung gathered the 300 human fighters. "Listen carefully," he said. "The synthetic units are holding the main docking bays, but they're losing ground. We'll split into 6 teams and support them at key points." He showed a map of the station. "The Vorsians are using their standard attack pattern, trying to take control of the central systems first. We need to push them back from these areas." He pointed to several spots on the map. "Team Alpha takes the North Hub. Team Beta, the East Section. Team Delta, defend the civilian shelters. Teams Echo and Foxtrot secure the power core. Team Gamma with me to protect the command center." June and Hana were assigned to Team Beta with 50 other soldiers. Their leader was Major Tai, a veteran, fighter who had served in 3 wars. "Stay close and follow orders," Major Tai told them. "We haven't fought together in months, so keep it simple and watch each other's backs." They moved through the station's corridors, hearing distant sounds of fighting. When they reached the East Section, they found bodies of synthetic units scattered across the floor. The robots had fought hard but failed. "Form up," Major Tai ordered. 5-person teams, standard cover pattern. Just then, the first Vorsians appeared at the far end of the corridor. They looked like tall insects walking on 2 legs. Each had 4 arms and a head with compound eyes. They moved together with perfect coordination, like a single organism with many bodies. "Hold position," Major Tai said. "Let them come to us." The Vorsians advanced steadily, firing energy weapons. June and his team took cover behind support pillars, returning fire. 3 Vorsians fell, but more kept coming. Then something strange happened. June felt a shift in his mind. The world around him seemed to slow down. He could see everything more clearly. Every movement of the enemy, every possible path they might take. He glanced at Hana and saw the same focused look in her eyes. Without a word, they began to move in perfect sync with each other and the rest of their team. It felt natural, as if they could read each other's thoughts. More Vorsians fell. The human fighters moved forward as one, their actions perfectly coordinated, without any verbal commands. Each person seemed to know exactly what the others would do before they did it. In minutes, they had cleared the entire section. Not a single human was even injured. "What just happened?" Hana asked, her voice sounding distant to her own ears. June shook his head. He couldn't explain what he'd felt during the fight. It was like he had been himself, but also part of something larger, a network of minds all working together. Major Tai touched his communication device. "East Section secure, moving to support Team Echo at the power core." As they moved through the station, reports came in from the other teams. The same thing was happening everywhere. The human fighters were defeating the Vorsians with unexpected ease. They were fighting with a level of coordination that matched the hive mind aliens. At the power core, they joined with Team Echo to face a larger group of Vorsians. Again, as the fight began, June felt his mind connect with the others. This time the feeling was stronger. His individual thoughts faded into the background as a collective consciousness took over. The humans moved as one, anticipating the Vorsians' every move. Where the synthetic units had failed, the humans were succeeding. They were using the Vorsians' own strength, their hive mind, against them. After an hour of fighting, the reports from around the station were all the same. The humans were winning. Inder. The command center Admiral Sung watched the battle unfold on the large screens. Commander Jin stood beside him, his face showing disbelief. "This is impossible," Jin said. "They're fighting better than elite units with years of training together." "Not impossible," a new voice said. They turned to see Counselor Tay entering the command center. The elderly council member had arrived on the station just before the attack. "It's happening exactly as we feared." "You knew this would happen?" Admiral Sung asked. "It's why we banned humans from combat," Counselor Tay replied. 15 years ago, we discovered that humans have a unique response when fighting hive mind species like the Vorsians. They form their own kind of hive mind. "That's not possible," Jin said. "See for yourself." Counselor Tay pointed to the screen, showing Team Beta. The humans were moving with unnatural coordination, their actions perfectly synchronized. "We call it neural combat resonance," the counselor continued. "When exposed to the brain patterns of a hive mind species, humans unconsciously begin to mirror that pattern. They link their minds together temporarily." "Is that dangerous?" Admiral Sung asked. "Very. At Proxima Centauri 15 years ago, a human battalion achieved this state while fighting Vorsians. They were incredibly effective, at first. They defeated the enemy completely. Then what happened?" Counselor Tay's face darkened. "When no enemies remained, the NCR state didn't end. The humans couldn't turn it off. They began to see potential threats everywhere. They attacked a coalition settlement, killing 3,000 civilians before we could stop them." Admiral Sung looked back at the screens with growing concern. "We need to pull them out." "It may already be too late," Counselor Tay said. "The longer they stay in combat, the deeper the NCR state becomes." Just then, Major Tay's voice came through. "The communication system. Power core secure. All Vorsians eliminated, awaiting new orders." His voice sounded strange, flat and emotionless. In the background, they could hear the other soldiers speaking in perfect unison, like one voice from many mouths. "The first stage has begun," Counselor Tay whispered. "If we don't stop this now, we'll have a repeat of the Proxima incident." At that moment, alarms blared again. A second wave of Vorsian ships had entered the system, 3 times larger than the first attack. "We can't defeat that many without the humans," Admiral Sung said. "If we keep using the humans, we might save the station but lose their humanity," Counselor Tay replied. "The choice is yours, Admiral, but choose quickly." In the east section, June and Hana stood with their team, waiting for new orders. Neither of them spoke. They didn't need to. Somehow they could feel each other's thoughts along with the thoughts of every human fighter on the station. They were becoming something new, something powerful, something that hadn't existed before the battle began. And deep inside, a small part of June that was still individual wondered, "Is this why we were banned from the battlefield?" In the command center, Admiral Sung faced a terrible choice. The second wave of Vorsian ships would reach the station in 30 minutes. They couldn't evacuate everyone in time. Without the human fighters, the station would fall. But keeping the humans in combat might lead to another disaster like the Proxima incident. "We need a third option," the Admiral said to Counselor Tay. "There is none," the counselor replied. "Once the neural combat resonance starts, it can't be stopped. It grows stronger the longer the humans fight." Admiral Sung looked at the screens showing the human teams throughout the station. They stood perfectly still, waiting for orders. Their eyes had a strange, distant look. "What if we rotate them?" he suggested. "Pull each team out after a short time before the NCR gets too deep." "It might work," Counselor Tay said slowly. "We never tried that approach before. The NCR might reset if they're removed from combat. How long would be safe? Based on the Proxima data, perhaps 20 minutes per team. Less would be better." Admiral Sung turned to Commander Jin. "Set up a rotation schedule, 6 teams, 15 minutes each. As soon as their time is up, they're pulled back to a secure area away from the fighting." Jin nodded. "And if they resist being pulled out?" We'll need a way to break the NCR state, Counselor Tay said. Our research suggests a strong electromagnetic pulse might disrupt the neural patterns temporarily. Prepare EMP devices for each team, Admiral Sung ordered. Use them only if necessary. As they made these plans, June and his team remained in the east section. The shared mind state had grown stronger. June could feel the thoughts of every human fighter on the station. They were becoming one being with 300 bodies. Yet June found he could still think his own thoughts, even as he shared in the group mind. It was like being in two places at once, his own head and the collective consciousness. Hana, he said, his voice sounding strange to his ears. Can you hear me? Yes, she replied. Her voice had the same flat tone as his. But I can hear everyone, else too. We need to understand what's happening to us. Before Hana could answer, new orders came through their communication devices. Team Beta, proceed to North Hub, engage Vorsian units for exactly 15 minutes, then withdraw to Safe Zone Alpha for rest. Without discussion, the team moved as one. They knew exactly what each person would do, where each would go. Their steps matched perfectly as they walked, through the corridors. When they reached the North Hub, they found it filled with Vorsians who had broken through from the new attack wave. The fight began immediately. The humans moved with even greater coordination than before, anticipating the enemy's actions seconds before they happened. June felt himself becoming less individual with each passing minute. The collective mind was taking over, but instead of fighting it, he tried something different. He focused on a single thought and pushed it into the shared consciousness. We must remain in control. To his surprise, he felt the thought echo through the network of human minds. Others picked it up, reinforced it, passed it along. We must remain in control. Exactly 15 minutes after they entered combat, a voice came through their devices. Team Beta, withdraw now to Safe Zone Alpha. June felt resistance in the group. Mind. The collective consciousness didn't want to stop fighting. It saw enemies that needed to be eliminated. Again, June pushed a thought into the network. We must follow orders. Withdraw now. Slowly, the team began to pull back from the fight. It was hard, like walking against a strong wind. The collective mind wanted to continue, to hunt down every Vorsian on the station. When they reached Safe Zone Alpha, medical staff waited for them. Each fighter was guided to a bed and connected to a device that sent gentle electrical pulses through their brains. June felt the connection to the group mind begin to fade. His individual thoughts became stronger again. He could still sense the others, but dimly, like distant voices. What happened out there? A doctor asked him. June tried to explain the feeling of being part of the collective consciousness. It was like we all became one person with many bodies. Can you still feel it? Yes, but it's weaker now. The doctor made notes on a tablet. The neural reset seems to be working. Rest here for 30 minutes before your next rotation. Across the room, June saw Hana sitting up on her bed. He walked over to her. Are you okay? He asked. I think so, she said. Her voice sounded normal again, not flat like before. That was intense. Did you feel me? In the group mind? She nodded. You helped us pull back. Without that push, I don't think we would have stopped fighting. June lowered his voice. I think I understand why the Council banned us from combat. The NCR is powerful, but dangerous. But we controlled it this time, Hana pointed out. We followed orders and withdrew. This time, June agreed. But what about next time? What if the connection gets too strong to break? Before Hana could answer, Admiral Sung entered the safe zone. He walked directly to June and Hana. Captain Kim, Lieutenant Park, he said. I need to speak with you privately. He led them to a small office nearby and closed the door. I've been watching the battle data, the Admiral said. Your team performed better than the others at maintaining control during withdrawal. What did you do differently? June explained how he had pushed thoughts into the group mind, guiding the others. Interesting, Admiral Sung said. The scientists who studied NCR after the Proxima incident never considered that it could be directed by an individual within the collective. It wasn't easy, June admitted. The group mind has its own will. But you overcame it, the Admiral said, which gives me an idea. He turned to a screen on the wall and brought up a map of the station. The second wave of Vorsians has breached 3 major points. We're running out of time and options. What are you suggesting, sir? Hana asked. A controlled extension of the NCR state, Admiral Sung replied. The 15-minute limit is working, but it's not enough time to push back the Vorsians completely. I want to try a 25-minute deployment with your team, with you, Captain Kim, actively guiding the group mind. That's risky, June said. I don't know if I can maintain control that long. It's a risk we have to take, the Admiral said. The evacuation is only 30% complete. We need more time. Suddenly, the station shook violently. The lights flickered. What was that? Hana asked. Admiral Sung checked his communication device. The Vorsians have hit one of our main power generators. We're running on backups now. His face grew more serious. And they've broken through to the civilian shelters. Team Delta is overwhelmed. The civilians, June said. How many are there? Over 10,000 in that section alone, the Admiral replied. Mostly families with children. June and Hana looked at each other. Without speaking, they knew what they had to do. We'll do it, sir, June said. 25 minutes. But we'll need the other teams to create a perimeter around us in case we lose control. Agreed, Admiral Sung said. And I'm authorizing the use of EMP devices if necessary. If you show signs of targeting anything other than Vorsians, we'll have to shut you down. Understood, sir, Hana said, as they left the office to rejoin their team. June felt a mix of determination and fear. They were about to push the neural combat resonance further than was safe. If they succeeded, they might save thousands of lives. If they failed, they might become the very threat they were fighting against. Can we really do this? Hana asked, quietly as they walked. We have to try, June replied. But no matter what happens in there, promise me one thing. What? If I lose myself to the group mind, if I can't pull back, don't hesitate to use the EMP. Hana nodded solemnly. I promise. The same goes for me. They rejoined Team Beta, who were already preparing for their next deployment. As June looked at his fellow soldiers, he realized they were all changing. The repeated exposure to the NCR state was affecting them. They moved in sync even outside of combat. They rarely spoke, as if they didn't need words anymore. Listen up, June said to the team. Our next mission is critical. We're going to protect the civilian shelters, but we'll be extending our combat time beyond the safe limit. The team acknowledged with silent nods. They understood the risks. As they moved out toward the civilian section, June felt the group mind beginning to form again, stronger than before. This time, instead of resisting it, he embraced it, but kept a part of himself separate, watchful. They were about to find out if humans could master the power that had gotten them banned from the battlefield, or if that power would master them. Team Beta moved quickly through the station's corridors. They could hear fighting ahead. The Vorsians had reached the civilian shelters and were trying to break in. As they got closer, the neural combat resonance grew stronger. June felt his mind connecting with the others again. This time, he didn't fight it. Instead, he focused on guiding it, like steering a powerful river. Protect the civilians. Only target Vorsians. Stay in control. He pushed these thoughts into the group mind. The others received them, understood them, passed them along. They turned a corner and saw the battle. Dozens of Vorsians were attacking a large door. Behind it were thousands of civilians. The few synthetic units defending the door were being destroyed one by one. Without a word, Team Beta moved into action. They spread out in perfect formation, each person knowing exactly where to go. They fired their weapons with impossible accuracy. The Vorsians fell quickly, but more kept coming. June felt the power of the group mind growing with each passing minute. They were fighting better than ever before. Every team member could sense what the others were doing and thinking. They worked together like parts of a single body. 10 minutes passed, then 15. They had already gone beyond the safe limit, but they couldn't stop now. The Vortians kept coming, determined to reach the civilians. At 20 minutes, June felt something changing in the group mind. It was becoming harder to guide. The collective consciousness was taking on a will of its own. It wanted to hunt, to destroy, to eliminate all threats. No, June thought firmly. We protect. We defend. We do not hunt. The struggle inside the group mind was like nothing June had ever experienced. Part of him wanted to give in, to let the collective take full control. It would be easier that way. But he knew that path led to disaster. He searched for Hana in the chaos of battle. She was nearby fighting 3 Vorsians at once. Through their mental link, he felt her own struggle to maintain control. Hold on, Hana, he thought directly to her. 5 more minutes. 25 minutes into the battle, Admiral Sung's voice came through their communication devices. Team Beta, withdraw now. You've reached the time limit. June tried to guide the team to obey, but the collective resisted, strongly. It didn't want to leave while enemies remained. The hunger to keep fighting was overwhelming. We must protect the civilians by following orders. June pushed into the group mind. It wasn't working as well as before. The collective was too strong now. Then June had a new idea. Instead of fighting, the collective will, he tried to understand it. He realized it wasn't just hunger for battle driving the group mind. It was something deeper, more human, a powerful desire to protect, to save others from harm. We all want the same thing, he thought, into the network, to protect the innocent. But we can only do that if we remain human. This resonated through the group mind. Slowly, Team Beta began to pull back from the fight, allowing fresh teams to take their place. As they withdrew to the safe zone, June felt the collective consciousness still fighting to stay together. Even as the medical staff connected them to the neural reset devices, the link remained strong. Admiral Sung and Counselor Tay were waiting for them in the safe zone. They looked concerned, but also impressed. 27 minutes in the NCR state, the Admiral said. And you maintained control? Barely, June admitted. He was exhausted, both physically and mentally. It gets harder the longer it goes on. But you found a way, Counselor Tay said. No one has ever done that before. The counselor showed them data on a screen. Look at these brain scans. The NCR pattern is different from what we saw at Proxima. It's more stable. What does that mean? Hana asked. She was sitting on a bed nearby, also looking tired. It means you're not just mirroring the Vorsian hive mind, Counselor Tay explained. You're creating something new, a human network that preserves individual identity while allowing group consciousness. As they talked, June could still feel the others in his mind, though the connection was weaker now. It was strange, but no longer frightening. He was beginning to understand what was happening to them. It's not about losing ourselves, he said slowly. It's about finding a new way to be together. That's the key difference, Counselor Tay agreed. At Proxima, the soldiers completely lost their individual identities. They became a true hive mind with no separation between them, but you're maintaining your sense of self while sharing consciousness. A network, not a hive, Hana said. Exactly. Admiral Sung looked at his communication device. The situation is improving. The Vorsians are being pushed back at all points, but the battle isn't over yet. Suddenly, the station shook violently. Lights flickered and alarms blared. What was that? June asked. The Admiral checked the emergency channel. The Vorsians have changed tactics. They're attacking the station's main structure now. If they breach the hull in enough places, he didn't need to finish. Everyone knew what would happen. The station would lose air and power. Everyone would die. How long until the evacuation is complete? Counselor Tay asked. At least 6 more hours, the Admiral replied. And we only have enough ships for about 70% of the population. June looked at Hana, then at the rest of Team Beta. Though the neural reset had weakened their connection, he could still sense their thoughts. They were all thinking the same thing. We need to go back out there, June said. You've already exceeded the safe limit once, Counselor Tay warned. A second extended exposure could push you beyond the point of no return. What choice do we have? June asked. If the station falls, millions die. Admiral Sung considered, for a moment. There might be another option. What if we try to use the NCR itself to solve this problem? How? Hana asked. If human minds can form a network in combat, maybe they can do more than just fight, the Admiral suggested. Maybe they can think together, solve problems together. A 300-person brain, Counselor Tay said, understanding, working as one to find a solution. It's never been tried, the Admiral admitted, but it might be our only chance. June thought about it. The NCR gave them incredible fighting ability, but what if that was just the beginning? What if they could use this connection for more than combat? We need to gather all the human fighters, he said. Not to send them back to battle, but to think together. The Admiral nodded. I'll order all teams to the central hub. 30 minutes later, all 300 human fighters were gathered in the station's largest open space. They sat in circles on the floor, facing each other. The medical staff had removed the neural reset devices, allowing the NCR to rebuild. Gradually, June stood in the center with Hana. We've all felt the connection in battle, he said. Now we need to try something different. We need to use our linked minds to find a way to save the station. How do we do that? Someone asked. The same way we fight together, June replied. By letting go of our separation, but not ourselves. Slowly, they all closed their eyes. The NCR began to form again, but gentler this time, not driven by the intensity of combat. June felt his mind touching others, sharing thoughts, memories, ideas. It was different from before. Without the pressure of battle, the connection felt less overwhelming, more like a conversation than a merging. Each person remained distinct, while sharing their knowledge and intelligence. Through this shared consciousness, they began to see the station in a new way, not as separate sections and systems, but as a whole. They could feel the damage, sense the weaknesses, understand what needed to be done. And together, they began to form a plan. In the command center, Admiral Sung and Counselor Tay watched in amazement as the human fighters sat motionless, their faces peaceful, their minds working together in ways never before possible. What are they doing? Commander Jin asked, watching the scene on the monitors. Something new, the Admiral replied. Something that might change everything we thought we knew about human potential. Outside, the Vorsian ships continued their attack, unaware that they were no longer facing just individual humans, but a new kind of consciousness, one that combined the strength of unity with the creativity of individuality. And in the center of that consciousness, June finally understood why humans had been banned from the battlefield, not because they were dangerous, but because they were too powerful. Because they could become something beyond what any species had seen before. The truth was beginning to emerge. For 20 minutes, the 300 human fighters sat in silence, their minds connected. In the command center, Admiral Sung, Counselor Tay, and Commander Jin watched anxiously. How long should we wait? Commander Jin asked. As long as necessary, Admiral Sung replied. This may be our only chance. On the screens, they could see the Vorsian ships continuing their attack. Parts of the station were already losing air. Emergency teams worked desperately to seal the breaches, but they couldn't keep up. Suddenly, June opened his eyes. One by one, the other humans did the same. They looked different now, calm, focused, united by a shared purpose. June stood and walked to a communication panel. Admiral, we have a plan, he said. Let's hear it, Admiral Sung replied through the speaker. The Vorsians aren't just attacking randomly, June explained. They're following a pattern. Their ships move according to rules like a complex game. We can use that against them. How? We need to lure their ships to the south side of the station, near the old mining dock. That area has the strongest shields and the most powerful defense cannons. The Admiral looked doubtful. The Vorsians are too smart to fall for a simple trap. It's not simple, June said. We'll need to create a very specific pattern of shield. Failures and power fluctuations. The Vorsian hive mind will see it as weakness and respond in a predictable way. And you know this because we saw it, June replied. All of us together. We could see the patterns in their attacks, understand their thinking. 300 human minds working as one can see things that individual minds can't. Admiral, Sung turned to Counselor Tay. Is this possible? The counselor nodded slowly. The NCR state could theoretically enhance pattern recognition and strategic thinking. If they're maintaining their individual identities within the network, they might be able to process information in ways we've never seen before. We don't have time to debate, Commander Jin said, looking at the damage reports. The station will fail within 2 hours at this rate. Implement the plan, Admiral Sung ordered. But keep the evacuation going, just in case. Over the next hour, station engineers followed June's instructions exactly. They created carefully timed power fluctuations in specific sections. They lowered shields in certain areas while strengthening them in others. To the Vorsian hive mind, it looked like the station was failing in a particular pattern. Their ships began to move just as the humans had predicted, concentrating their attack on the south side. It's working, Admiral Sung said in surprise. They're repositioning exactly as June said they would. The trap is almost ready, June replied, through the communication system. When the last ship moves into position, we'll need to activate the mining dock's magnetic pulse system. That system hasn't been used in years, Commander Jin objected. We don't know if it still works. It will work, June said with certainty. We've already sent a team to prepare it. As they watched, the Vorsian fleet continued to move into the trap. One by one, the ships positioned themselves near the old mining dock, focusing their weapons on what they perceived as the station's weakest point. Almost there, June said. Just one more ship. The final Vorsian dreadnought moved into position. It was the command ship, the one controlling the others. Now, June ordered. The station's engineers activated the mining dock's magnetic pulse system. It had once been used to control the movement of ore-carrying ships, but now it sent out a massive electromagnetic wave that washed over the Vorsian fleet. The effect was immediate. The Vorsian ships stopped firing. Their engines flickered and failed. The bioorganic technology that powered them was highly sensitive to electromagnetic disruption. It worked, Commander Jin exclaimed. Not completely, June cautioned. This won't last long. The ships will restart their systems soon. We need to use this time to evacuate as many people as possible and prepare the station's main weapon. What main weapon? Admiral Sung asked. This station is for research and trade. It doesn't have a main weapon. Yes, it does, June replied. You just don't know about it yet. He explained that through their collective consciousness, the humans had discovered something hidden deep in the station's systems. Years ago, when the station was first built, the designers had included a powerful gravitational generator. It was meant to create artificial gravity in case the rotation system failed, but it could be modified to create a focused gravitational pulse, strong enough to crush the Vorsian ships. That's impossible, Commander Jin said. I've studied the station's blueprints. There's no such system. Check sub-level directory Alpha 97, June told him. Password, Proxima. Commander Jin entered the information into his console. His eyes widened as hidden files appeared. He's right. It's here, but it's been classified for 15 years. Counselor Tay sighed. After the Proxima incident, we hid many things. The gravitational generator was deemed too dangerous. It could destroy a fleet, or the station itself if misused. Can it be activated safely? Admiral Sung asked. With precise calculations, yes, June said. And we've already made those calculations. Through their network of minds, the humans had been able to work out exactly how to modify the generator, how much power to use, and where to focus the gravitational pulse. It would require perfect timing and coordination. The Vorsian ships are starting to power up again, Commander Jin warned. We have maybe 10 minutes before they resume their attack. That's enough time, June said confidently. But we'll need all 300 of us to control the gravitational generator. It wasn't designed to be used this way. What do you mean? All of you? Admiral Sung asked. We'll need to link our minds again, but deeper this time, June explained. We'll become the control system for the generator, guiding it with our collective consciousness. Counselor Tay looked alarmed. That level of neural connection could be permanent. You might not be able to separate again. We understand the risk, June replied. We discussed it together and made this choice as one. The Admiral hesitated, then nodded. Proceed. In the central hub, the 300 humans once again sat in circles. This time they joined hands, creating a physical connection to match their mental one. As they closed their eyes, the NCR state formed quickly, stronger than ever before. In the command center, the monitors showed their brain activities merging into a single, complex pattern. It's beautiful, Counselor Tay whispered. I've never seen anything like it. Through their linked minds, the humans reached into the station's systems. They found the gravitational generator and began to awaken it, guiding its power with their thoughts. It was like playing a musical instrument with 300 hands all moving in perfect harmony. Outside, the Vorsian ships were almost ready to resume their attack. Their weapon systems were powering up, preparing to deal the final blow to the station. But they were too late. A wave of gravitational distortion erupted from the station, invisible but incredibly powerful. It hit the Vorsian fleet like a giant hand, crushing the smaller ships instantly. The larger ones fought against it, their hulls groaning under the pressure. In the command center, the screens showed the Vorsian fleet being crushed by the invisible force. One by one, their ships imploded, unable to withstand the gravitational pressure. It's working, Commander Jin exclaimed. But on another screen, warning lights flashed. The station's power grid was being drained at an alarming rate. Systems were failing throughout the structure. The generator is taking too much power, Admiral Sung realized. It's going to drain the station completely. We need to shut it down, Commander Jin said. We can't, Counselor Tay replied. Only the humans can control it now, and they're deep in the NCR state. In the central hub, June and the others were aware of the danger. Through their connection, they could feel the station groaning under the strain. They knew they had to stop, soon or risk destroying what they were trying to save. But first, they had to finish the job. The Vorsian command ship still remained, damaged but intact. If it escaped, it would return with another fleet. With their last reserve of power, the humans focused the gravitational pulse directly on the command ship. It resisted longer than the others, its advanced technology fighting against the crushing force. Then, with a silent flash of light, it collapsed in on itself and was gone. The moment it was destroyed, June guided the network to release the gravitational generator. The enormous drain on the station's power stopped just before it reached critical levels. Slowly, carefully, the humans began to separate their minds. It was harder than before. The connection had grown so strong that it was painful to pull apart. One by one, they opened their eyes, returning to their individual selves. Some cried, others laughed. All of them felt changed by what they had experienced. In the command center, Admiral Sung, Counselor Tay, and Commander Jin watched in silence as the humans stood and embraced each other. They did it, Admiral Sung said finally. They saved the station. And discovered something profound in the process, Counselor Tay added. The Council was wrong to ban humans from the battlefield. We weren't protecting the galaxy from them. We were preventing them from reaching their true potential. So what happens now? Commander Jin asked. Now, the counselor said, we have to rethink everything we thought we knew about humans. 1 week later, June stood with Hana in the STA.